Happy Wednesday, everybody. Welcome to today's episode of DV Live City Talk. I'm Amanda Akam, the marketing coordinator here at Desert Valleys Federal Credit Union. And if you have not done so, please hit that subscribe button and be sure to share this episode so other people can join the conversation. Welcome back.
Hi, Amanda.
How are you, Dave?
I'm good.
Dr. Ostash?
Well, that, or you can just call me Dave.
Dave. I know. I'm like, I never know what to say, but you worked so hard to earn the doctor name.
Thank you.
Title.
Yeah.
So before we start, for anyone watching who doesn't know who you are, can you tell us who you are, what you do, and a favorite food?
Of course. Absolutely. Dave Ostash, Superintendent for Sierra Sands Unified School District. And my favorite food is anything beef, but most particularly filet mignon. That's my fave.
Look at you, fancy. I do enjoy bacon wrapped, though.
That works, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, what was it? The last one I made had the mushrooms on top.
Oh, yeah.
Like with a red wine vinegar or
Making me
red
hungry.
wine. I know. I actually cook sometimes. We were joking around about doing one of these in my kitchen, and I was like, well, it's not like my kitchen gets used anymore. But
yeah, filet mignon, any kind of steak.
That is good. I wish we had a fantastic, just porterhouse steak. I still have not had a good one because I don't know how to cook those.
But then you have to have a huge appetite because that's what I like about the filet. It's so tasty, and yet you can finish the whole thing.
Oh, that's true. I usually split that with my husband.
Yeah.
The tomahawk thing, but I don't know how to properly cook it. If anyone has any tips, drop those in the comments.
Yes. Can't wait to see those.
Right? They're like, Amanda, really, just don't cook it. That's your tip. So we are going to talk about you as the current superintendent.
Yes.
And you have a new adventure on deck as well.
I do. So, I've been in the district for 27 years, and I've loved, seriously, every minute of it. It's been a joy. It's been an honor. I have great memories of everything. I mean, really everything. But, this opportunity kind of emerged for me to move on July 1, officially, at the County Office of Ed, Kern County Office of Education, specifically working as the Chief Executive Officer for Self-insured Schools of California. And I can't say that I ever would have imagined.
I was going to say, was this like, okay, here's the goal?
No, not at all. And that's kind of the beauty of it, right? Sometimes it's not really, the door of opportunity that you're knocking on. Sometimes it's the door that opens to you that you least expect. And I think this is an example of that.
Especially with all the projects and everything you've been working on and heading way, this is, like you said, this is your third episode back. And it's so amazing to always just get a chance to speak with you about what's going on at the district.
Thank you. So, it's a bittersweet thing, really. I mean, I really wasn't honestly looking to leave. But like I said, sometimes that opportunity kind of taps you on the shoulder, so to speak, and you look at it, and looking at my family situation with kids getting older and moving up and on, and it just was that opportunity that they say sometimes it's an opportunity you can't pass up. In this case, it just was an opportunity that I wouldn't pass up.
Okay.
Bittersweet in the sense that I'd love to stick around a little bit longer and see some other projects through. As the last time we talked here, we were talking about Measure C.
Yes.
And as we know, that didn't pass, which is fine, right? Because you learn things and you grow. And I think there are some really...
and what else? Richmond?
Richmond. So the cool thing about Richmond. So we literally started moving dirt yesterday.
No way!
I'll show you a picture here before we leave. We have heavy equipment, the Tonka-looking type toys on it, moving dirt. So we're in that actual construction phase of building Richmond. So that's super exciting.
Congratulations. That's very exciting.
We actually have a tentative date. It's not official, but I think in the next few days it'll become official. We're looking at Monday, April 17. We're going to have a groundbreaking ceremony out on the build site. So look for more information about that.
You know what? I might just kind of weasel my way in there and come see you guys over there with your shovels.
That's why I bring it up.
There we
go.
go.
Have you.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, that'll be like a total cost about $90 million to build that school, which is kind of astronomical if you really think about it, but cost escalation over the last few years has been tremendous in the area of construction.
Let's not even talk about one
COVID,
piece
pandemic,
of lumber.
it just hit all of the raw materials and then labor, and it's just crazy. But we're fortunate we got an 80% grant from the federal government to cover that, and that's how we're able to do it.
We were just at the EOC as well, and a couple of the base engineers. I'm sorry, guys, if I'm butchering this, but they were speaking about Richmond as well. So it's exciting that this is progressed. I feel like more rapidly than not, but I'm on this side of the curve.
It's gone well. We have great help. Pam Smith is our CBO, and Randy Coit's our director of construction. The two of them are an incredible team. They deserve absolutely all the credit for shepherding this whole process, keeping the ball moving forward. Working with the federal government is rigorous. They have, the federal government has a lot of
I'm sure
hoops
there's
you got to get through, and
much different ones than just at state or even county level.
Yeah, right,
So.
exactly. And great point. And when you're doing a project that's funded by the Fed, but taking place in California, you get the joy of complying with all the California rules as well as the federal rules. So you're looking at various kinds of compliance issues, environmental impact issues. Just there are a lot, and we're through it. So here we are. We're getting ready to build a school, and it's really exciting. And what's next is Pierce Elementary School is next on that list by the federal government to get either modernized or replaced. So stay tuned in the coming months and years for that school to become a project.
Interesting, but very exciting.
Yes, yes.
I think that'll be good for all the youth in the elementary programs. So
we're just fortunate that the federal government has this funding program that recognizes that schools are really important, to a community. And in our case with China Lake, being, the vast majority of our economy and the biggest employer in town by far, that the federal government recognizes that having good school facilities is an important piece in the puzzle for recruitment and retention of their workforce. So we're very fortunate that there's a program for that.
I love that you bring that up because we also were talking about like economic development and everything. I have Megan McKenzie on as well, and we were talking about like families wanting to stay here or recruiting younger engineers and like a night on Balsam and doing things like that. So,
which was fun, by the way. I went.
It was so fun.
Amazing. I was so proud of the city, and I realized that that if I remember correctly, there were more people I think who came to the event than was anticipated.
Doubled than that was anticipated.
Growing pains. But to me, they're like, I always categorize problems. They're either good problems or bad problems, right?
Right.
A bad problem would have been if half the people showed up than were anticipated. The fact that double showed up and it created some problems with shortage of food and wine, et cetera.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's a good problem to have.
That was a great problem. It was still fun just to get out. I'll be honest, a night in February, like I was like, no one's going to want to come out. Like I'm just one of the crazy people that like the cold. And seeing everyone come out, it was nice to see the community get together and come and be vocal, and the city being open to hearing all the responses.
It was really, it was great. I enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to, the next one. So that'll be good.
So speaking of that and feedback and everything, with you on your next adventure, they are currently looking for prospective replacements?
Right. Yep. So we have a great board. We have 5 locally elected board members, and they're all incredible people. So they're very well equipped to do this. Is, I would say, arguably the hiring of and the oversight of the superintendent is probably the most important function that the board has. I mean,
right.
The board has a lot of governance responsibilities, but their biggest task is when the situation arises where they need to hire a superintendent, and then of course monitor and evaluate the superintendent. So it's very typical, and in this case, our board did hire a company to help it through the process, kind of the search/selection process. So Leadership and Associates is a great company. They won the competitive bid by the board, and so Leadership and Associates is running the search process.
And is that part of, obviously my child's in the district. I got an email regarding
Yes.
here's a survey. So I think that's fantastic. Like you guys are going straight to the source of people who have a vested interest.
That's right. Yeah. So the board will actually interview the candidates and make the selection, right? But leadership and associates, what they do is they help with what you just described. They help with the process, running through the surveys. So first of all, on our website, there is which is www.ssusd.org. There's a button on the front page that's very prominent. You can't miss it. And if you're listening to this and you would like to submit any input as to kind of the qualities and the character of your future superintendent, you can do that. The company also has already conducted lots of interviews with partners in the community, like folks at China Lake and business owners and parents and teachers and lots of different groups. And so really they help do that work for the board. And then what happens is they provide an executive summary to the board that really summarizes what they would like to see and who they would like to see in their next superintendent.
So it helps streamline and makes everything more efficient for the board to make the decision.
Precisely.
Okay. And then how long is the job position open or?
Right. So if I remember correctly, the job, which is posted internally and also in some of the, statewide journals is, I think the job closes March 24th. It's from memory. And then I believe the board will be interviewing those who they choose to interview on April 15, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
So, this is, like you said, bittersweet.
Yeah, it is bittersweet. It's kind of hard to talk about it. I
apologize.
No, it's
ripping the Band-Aid off.
Not that hard, but it's been a labor of love for me, and I've never really considered it a job. From day one, when I was hired in 1990s.
Isn't that the best type of job then?
Totally. It's really just been a lifestyle for me. When I was hired in August of 1996 to teach English in room L36 at Burroughs High School and then transition in and partner up with Charlie Laddig, who then retired and take over as head coach for swimming and being involved with all kinds of activities, being senior class advisor and Friday Night Live advisor and then moving through those transitions like dean of students and assistant principal and then principal at Monroe and then back at Burroughs as principal. They've just been exhilarating times. And, you'd have homecoming week or you'd have Friday Night Lights or you'd have, a musical or a play or a band concert. And, oh, wow, that was another 12-hour day. But you just don't think, honestly, you don't think of it in those terms when it's happening and you just enjoy it as a lifestyle. And so the advice that you're given when you're young, if you do what you love and you'll never have to work a day in your life, and it all seems so corny to me, but it really has played out. And I feel really fortunate for that. So
are there any favorite memories, specific memories that you have in your mind? From a homecoming week.
Yeah, I have tons. One of the things that we do traditionally at Burroughs is we have different spirit rallies, and I can remember one time, some of us, kissed a pig. One time I rode, I don't have it anymore, but I had a Harley Davidson. I remember one time driving a Harley Davidson in with a couple others into the gym and with some teachers on the back. And I
actually vividly remember that. I want to say it was my senior year in 2006.
Is that right?
And Mrs. Gerard and everyone had their Harleys out on the quad.
Yes, it was a blast. So, that was fun. When our football team won the CIF championship back in, I think, 2005, I believe, that was obviously great. And to see the community come together on that.
Needless to say, I believe truly that you've left a lasting impact, not only on me growing up, going through all my wild years, but everyone in the community. So
that's nice of you to say. Really, our greatest success, I think, as educators are in the tiniest of moments. There are so many things that we do together as educators. The system itself provides this whole menu of opportunities, but the special moments are really in those tiny moments, the ones that you don't even know are special.
Yeah.
Right. And then years later, you're told or you're reminded, hey, when you did or didn't do this, or you said or followed through on this or whatever, and they say that was really special, and you think, well, it never occurred to me that was special, right? So it's in those tiniest moments that are special, and you just hope as an educator that there's lots and lots of those moments out there, not for myself, but for others, And I remember talking with students, especially students who were, because I spent all of my years at either a middle or a high school, mostly the high school. You're working with young human beings who are learning who they are, and
it's a very interesting time, that those two sections of age frame.
Right.
So,
and so you hope that, and I would even sometimes say, look, I'm just trying to plant a seed here. I'm going to tell you this because it's something you really might want to consider. And even if it's not something that you choose to act on right now, maybe it's something that sort of plants itself deep inside you and it germinates later, a year later, 5 years later, 10 years later. And you hope that you have a lot of those moments.
Yes. And I kudos to you again, because those years, like, I look at teachers and what they do, and educators, and even the administration as a whole, and I'm like, how do you guys do this? What superpower do you guys hold?
Patience.
Because, I mean, there are some talents I have, and I am very thankful for my children, but I'm like, I give it to you guys. Like, I could not do what you guys do, and I admire that you guys can.
Well, thank you. It's funny because one of the things that you realize as an educator is that, if let's say you stay at a certain school site for a long time, or a certain age level for a long time, you realize that, you yourself, you get older, right? And you move through different phases of life, but the people whom you serve, they all stay the same age, because it's like this little wind vortex. They leave and new ones come in, and so it's this vortex. And so as you move through these,
isn't that the pattern of crazy, or the definition of crazy?
I'm thinking it is. So it's one of those things where you have to kind of dig down deep and go, all right, I'm moving through different phases and stages of my life, but the kids I'm serving, their faces change, but they're all staying the same stage. So you have to kind of become more and more intentional about maintaining your optimism and maintaining your patience, and being able to change, because the way that we as adults connect with kids, students, in some ways there's certain universal factors, respect and acknowledgement.
They're
and
little tiny
humans,
heard,
but also culture changes. So we have to change as adults, whether it's our words, our tone, our whatever, it just changes. And that's hard.
It's very hard. Let me tell you, we're currently trying to teach our son that you grow outside of your comfort level. So we've been doing baseball. He didn't want to do baseball. And I'm like, buddy, you committed. You're doing this now. And the other night he got tagged out for the first time. He's Shetland. He's a little 5-year-old.
Yeah.
No one ever taught him that you get tagged out. So I realize that's a failure on the adult side, assuming that he knew.
So he left crying.
The kid tagged him out. He shoved the kid. He didn't understand. He went and got on second base. It was a whole thing.
That is hilarious.
And I'm staring, and like my husband, because we're feeding our 6-month-old in the car, he's like, get out there now. He's like, you're the one that knows baseball. So I go out there, and like, we're just joking. He's like, why aren't you my coach? And like the team mom's like, he doesn't understand. And then everyone, it's like this epiphany moment. We all realized no one taught the kids what to do.
Oh my goodness, that's hilarious.
So it's a lot of herding cats. So again, I admire what you guys do day in and day out, herding cats till they.
Let me give a little shout out. You talk about baseball. So I remember being out there with our son Aiden, who's now a junior at Sonoma State University. But he played baseball out on the fields throughout all those, the Mustang and Bronco and Pony and all that, travel ball and all that, and played at Burroughs, and he also played baseball at Saracoso. And I just want to, for anyone out there who's listening, baseball is such a great sport, and we have great programs. And I think I can speak for Aiden, that one of his favorite memories is playing for Burroughs and for Saracoso. Just what great opportunities we have here to play baseball. So
it's kind of wild seeing it now. Like, if he doesn't want to play baseball, it's going to break my little heart, but it's fine. No pressure. But to be able to have him go for the last 3 years at the city leagues, and like you said, he could potentially go his entire childhood into young adulthood playing
100%.
in one town.
Yes.
It's crazy.
And a lot of our boys who play it at Syracuse. So of course, we have more out of town recruits than we have locals, but there's no shortage of players up at Syracuse who get scholarship offers. A lot of them get scholarship offers to play baseball outside of or beyond Syracuse. So it's a great. The coaches do a great job up there. The program is awesome, and I just can't say enough good at Burroughs and Syracuse.
I was going to say for both of them, they come out to the little kid fields too,
Absolutely.
and it's great to see them have like the coaches' days when they're out there helping the kids round up balls or figure out what they're doing.
Yep.
So, and same thing. We just had Dr. Zeus Day or National Ridgecrest America Day.
Yeah.
And seeing all the high school kids go to the younger kids' schools. I think that's a fantastic thing. Like, I'll be honest, I don't recall it, but maybe it's because I was a little kid. But even at the high school level, I think it's great to interact with them and give them something to look forward to as they grow up.
Absolutely. Yeah, we have athletes that go out. We also have, and I don't know if this is what you're referring to on Read Across America Day, we had the Burroughs theater group.
Yes.
Yeah, they went out to all the elementary schools. And they did a great job acting out books. It was so fun.
My son was telling me, because I was like, oh, the Cat in the Hat visited you. And he's like, yeah, but then there was this donkey.
Yes.
And I was all.
Yes.
And it took me a minute.
Hilarious.
And I was like, a donkey? And I was like, oh,
They
the
acted it out.
burro.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So
it was super fun.
That's like lasting memories like that show me that our district is doing big things in little ways.
We do. Our district, we're a great district. I mean, one of the things that I try to remind myself and all of us 600 plus employees in the district is that in Sierra Sands, we're somewhat remote, obviously, right? We're kind of out here in the middle of everywhere, as sometimes. So those of us who are optimists say it, but we don't get that comparative energy. We don't get to, and we just kind of lose sight of the fact that we have such a great gem of a school district and community and college and sure, I mean, what we do is really hard, right? I mean, if you're in service, whether you're in the medical field or the educational field or
It's
law enforcement field,
demanding.
Pick it. It's very demanding. It's very challenging. You have some tough times, some tough days, but what we're able to do with our 5,000 students and their parents and guardians is really pretty amazing. And we have so many great things going on every day. And to the extent that I can encourage students and families to be as engaged as possible, get involved, become a strong partner, the more that students are involved with co-curricular, extracurricular activities, to the extent that they do that, the research is very clear that students do better in school. They like going to school. Their attendance goes up.
It all
happy.
trickles and falls through.
It all does, yeah. And I mean, obviously, you can go to school and do very well and not be involved. I'm not saying it's like a 100% this way or that way. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that it really enhances the experience when you get involved. And there's
it's just beyond sports too. There's so many. Like our robotics team just went to state.
Absolutely, yeah. And they're so successful, and we have so many different programs in so many different ways. We have the traditional athletics, the non-traditional athletics. We have the performing arts. We have.
I loved going to the
robotics.
PAC again this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Which, by the way, Cinderella is this weekend.
Okay.
We have our first musical in a few years, Cinderella. So go out and see Cinderella this Friday or
And I think it's
Saturday.
amazing, like just the different opportunities kids have nowadays. It's fantastic to see how far it's grown.
Yeah,
So.
agreed. Especially, I just want to say, I mean, we all know this, the level of distraction that we all have to overcome as adults and kids.
These little things?
That thing right there. Such a powerful tool. It's never going to go away. It does a lot of good, but it also can be bad. You have to monitor that.
Yeah. I was just reading up that you have to engage in the first 8 seconds. Well, even like 3 seconds, but 8 seconds is like the sweet spot to gain someone's interest. And we even were talking about, like, another friend was talking about, oh, we limit our son's screen time during the week and even on the weekends now because he's getting anxiety or stressed out. And it's like these little things or computers, games, stuff like that. It's so crazy how they're having a bigger effect.
Huge effect. And everyone can figure it out for themselves how to do it. I've heard of all kinds of great ideas. I heard one idea where when the family comes together and they eat a meal, like dinner, for example, they're like, hey, and they all put their phones in a little basket over, by a table somewhere. And so it's like everyone's actually going to, 20 minutes or whatever, 30 minutes, they're all going to eat and they're actually going to interact with each other,
and
human to human.
It's so crazy because we've started doing that now that we're somewhat settled in our new home. We eat dinner at the table.
That's great.
And every night my son wants to read a little book to his sister because now he's starting to learn to read. And he's like, can we start doing game nights? I was all, yeah. We don't have games currently. Well, we didn't at the time.
Will.
At the time, we didn't. We do now. We have little puzzles and everything like that. And the interaction that way versus even seeing later. I know we can't get away from that. And I know eventually he's going to have a Chromebook and all that stuff, which I think is fantastic as long as it's not like, okay, go do your thing. But no, I think everything you've done in all your years here has been fantastic.
Thank you.
I said, you've had a lasting impression on myself and many others, which I hope if anyone has a great memory, please drop that in the comments.
That would mean the world to me.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So just hearing back, or if you have anything, be sure I will relay it to you and just to hear all the different stories.
I really look forward to, so we're not selling our family home here. I'm going on an adventure. I mean, I'll be in Bakersfield, so I'll be leaving Monday mornings and staying there through the week and have a place to stay. But we'll maintain our residency here, and I believe that.
So if someone sees you in the grocery store, they can pop by and say hi.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And I down the road, some years, I mean, I still have time to work and enjoy that. But down the road, when retirement comes someday, I could kind of see myself staying involved. Who knows? Maybe I'll run for school board 10 years from now or something, and see if I can continue to contribute and to make our community as great as it can be. And it's been such a, when I moved, like the story that we often hear is, I was going to be here for a year. I was going to be here for 10 months. I graduated from UCLA in 1996. And I was like, I can accept a teaching contract. It's a 10-month contract. And then I can go back and do what I was planning to do, which is go to law school. Well, that was in 1996, and 27 years later,
how'd law school go?
Yeah, never happened. But I don't have any regrets, and I'm so grateful that
I think that's like you said. Opportunity sometimes happens, and you don't think it's the door that you're gonna open, and here you are.
Yeah. Sometimes you shouldn't fight things. Sometimes you walk through that door that opens to you, and see how it'll treat you. And for me, it's been a huge blessing, and I think my kids are gonna. You never know. Don't want to pigeonhole them, but I think they're looking to go away, go to college, and come back. So then maybe the cycle of service will come around and start over again. So we'll see how that goes.
That would be fantastic. Well, thank you again for coming on. And if you're ever back this way during the week, just pop in, say hi.
Yeah, absolutely. Come back anytime. Yeah. Thank you for having me, Amanda.
Yeah, and then taking all the East Kern over to Bakersfield with you.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other piece of this. I think it's a good thing for us, and when we can have folks who are from here and understand and appreciate our living out here, that if there's any way that I can help represent East Kern interests and priorities, that's a good thing too.
I think you definitely bring a different perspective, and I love all the interaction that's been happening between our town and at the county level. So again, thank you for being here.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
All righty. Everyone, thank you again. And if you have any memories, funny stories, maybe some pictures, I know There's some yearbooks out there. Drop them in the comments so we can see them. And be sure to head on over to the City of Ridgecrest YouTube page and see this evening's council meeting. All right, guys, have a good night. Bye.